All right, gamers, what is up? This is Glitched, and I'm here with my buddy Nylan, and we're going to be
Yo,
doing Hunter x Hunter, Altar of Dragon Vein, Ryumyaku no Saidan. This is a pretty cool PS2 game based loosely on the Hunter x Hunter 1999 anime. This game actually features a totally original storyline that's separate from the canon of Hunter x Hunter, but it's pretty unique, pretty cool, and it's a fun game, so... we're gonna go ahead and get started right away.
set message speech to 1 point or to 5 in case you don't.
True, true. Big brain. Alrighty. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna count down. So on go. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so the game here starts with a quick tutorial. You're Gon and Killua. Basically, in this game, you have your main character that you control, mostly, and then you have a party member that you can loosely control with your other analog stick. But this tutorial at the beginning here just kind of explain basic combat. There's two types of attacks. There's a light attack and a heavy attack. Light attacks are done with square, heavy attacks are done with triangle, and you can kind of mix and match between the two to create different combos like light, light, heavy, heavy, light, light, etc. So it just kind of gives us a couple wolves here to fight at the start, just to demonstrate these mechanics. There's a lock-on mechanic here, and there's super attacks as well. He's off-screen, so you can't really see it, but every character has their own unique super attacks. And you can also hop around with the hop button there. So I'm going to try to take out all of these wolves with one super while Killua does the rest. And that was pretty good.
Yeah, this game, like, for anybody who's like curious, like how spoilery this is to Hunter x Hunter, it's very little. If anything, this uses like the tower right after the Hunter exam. Like, you barely even have Nen in the storyline. So, yeah, you don't really have to worry too much about how spoilery that would be.
Yep. Alright, so yeah, that was basically the tutorial segment. It just teaches you the basic mechanics of the game and then has you test them out on wolves and just a couple of bandits. So we're actually going to switch from Gon to Killua because Killua has the fastest movement speed and he starts with more attack than Gon. We're going to switch out our ally to be Leorio as well. We could choose Gon, but there's a boss fight later that forces our ally against us, and Leorio is just worse. So we want to fight a worse ally than Gon because his range is really good.
It's also important to note that even though we may switch to like Hanzo for that fight, like it is a time loss because the way menuing works to put Gon on your team anyway. Because like you have to switch off of you have to switch Killua from your support to somebody else. The only remaining person is Leorio at that time. And so you would have to do an extra menuing option to put Leorio out of your party and put Gon back in your party. So it's a time loss anyway to put him on.
Yeah. So the primary form of movement in the run is the hop. It's just basically pressing X makes you jump short distance forward. It's slightly faster than just running, so we're going to be hopping around most places. The combat also kind of has a stamina meter. That little aura bar under your life is kind of like your stamina. Once that aura bar has reached 0, you kind of can't do any combos anymore. You'll just do single attacks that are really slow and weak in comparison. So you kind of have to manage your aura while also trying to get as many hits in as you can with heavy attacks and light attacks. And Nylan, you might want to explain how stats are gained in the run as well, since we just saw a stat level up screen.
So there are 3 stats in this game: life, attack, and aura. Aura is that stamina bar. Attack is how much damage we do with our attacks, and it's directly 1-to-1, so it's really easy to calc your damage in this game. And then there's life. This fight is a forced loss, so we want to die as fast as possible. This guy can like do really strong moves or just boring weak moves, so you can waste a lot of time. But when you take damage in this game, you get life from level ups. Anytime you die or leave a level, it'll give you a level up screen. Every time you hit enemies with an attack of any, it doesn't count the damage, it just checks that the attack landed and dealt damage. It can't hit blocks or fake objects. it'll give you both aura and attack, and the growth rate of it is dependent on the character you're playing as. That's right. And then after the stage ends, it gives you those points. The weird thing about this game is that it gives you the points in a very obscure way. Like, Kilo also has the best stat growth, so that's kind of funny. But the game is really weird with how it works. The first like 10 or so hits in a stage don't count because you could enter the stage and just hit a couple times and leave. And then after the first 10 or so hits, it counts every 5 hits. If you hit multiple enemies, that counts as multiple hits. So we want ideally to swing our weakest attack, which is the square attack, which does 1.0 our attack stat. And we want to hit as many targets as possible to get as much, you know, like hits per aura spent. Stepping, as much as it looks like it should use up stamina or aura, doesn't. So whenever we run out of aura from attacking like this, we'll just start jumping around because we need to wait for it to regenerate anyway. It's not worth waiting while we can be moving around. These like ghoul-like enemies that are like in the ground guard a lot, so they're terrible to attack. But these bandits and stuff are good. But yeah, killing mobs doesn't change EXP, it doesn't do anything. So we often don't need to.
Oh my god, please don't block me. Forgot my way.
So, yeah. There are some verticality, as you can see here. We don't love it, because falling's weird in this game. You fall slower walking off a cliff than stepping in this game. Stepping doubles your gravity. This is the first, like, boss fight against something that's not just a bunch of average enemies.
Yeah, it's the skeleton mage. Basically, bro conjures these skeletons, kind of makes them move around. You want to just kind of loop him with heavy attacks. You can have Leorio's attacks turned on as well. You can turn your allies' attacks on and off by pressing R3. So by having his attacks on, he kind of helps you keep the skeleton mage stun locked and can make the fight quite fast. So that was a pretty good fight.
Skeleton mage is really scary because it doesn't look like it there, but if you hit the skeleton mage and try to loop him like with light or heavy, he will very often, he'll start strafing backwards and then he'll hop over your head. But if your ally is behind him, he is not allowed to perform that action. So keeping your ally active makes it really likely that that'll happen. So he won't jump out of the way.
Yeah. Also, the final hits of your attack strings, like your light attack or your heavy attack, both of those will knock down or knock away, either one depending on which one you decide to use. So having your ally also attacking while you're doing your full combo finisher, it'll kind of prevent that knockdown or knock away from happening so badly to where you can kind of continue your own combo.
Yeah, also important because our aura has to regenerate. It's nice if they could hit our opponent while we're waiting for it to come back up. Yep. We have full control over his movement with the right analog stick. You use it for a couple of these like button puzzles and stuff. But like, because of that, you can walk him to point blank range and he's unlikely to lunge the enemy. So it can help in like this fight, for example, on paper, because you can theoretically like put him behind this boss. This is the first human boss in this game. Human bosses are weak from behind. So they'll often block 100% of the time in front of them, and then behind they won't block at all. And so having Leorio on the opposite side of him completely removes that likelihood, and we can get double attacks like that.
Yeah, that was a really good fight, actually. So basically in the lore, what's happening right now, just to briefly go over, that guy is in cahoots with this dude named Zegan. He's a big evil bad guy hunter who's trying to basically use the altar of Dragonbane to summon this ultimate power so he can take over the world. Just like pretty basic filler anime tier stuff going on. But that guy is a hypnotist basically, and he hypnotized Kurapika, which is one of our buddies usually, to fight against us, and we snapped him out of it, and he actually joins your party. But since we don't really need to use him, his stats aren't that great, his attacks aren't that great, we don't really see Kurapika in the run. But yeah, we're in Zegan's mansion right now, so we're basically trying to investigate, see what this guy's up to, why he's collecting these artifacts around the world, because the artifacts all have to do with the Dragon Vein and summoning the Dragon Vein's power and whatnot, so he can get stronger. So we're just kind of going through, doing our intel. We're gonna get up to his room and figure out that he's trying to summon this ultimate power, and we're just gonna go after him and stop him.
Yep. The on the idea of characters, movement speed in this game, it's approximately like 16% faster per star your character has. The fastest is 4 stars, which is what Killua has. Gon has 3 stars, so he's 16% slower. And Leorio and Kurapika have 2 stars, which is 32% slower, 33% loosely. So unfortunately, they're too much slower. Even though Kurapika comes into the party with like kind of usable stats, because the game assumes you'll grind and it gives him okay-ish stats, he's not really comparable at the end of the day. His attacks are slower attack speed-wise, movement speed significantly slower. So he's just unusable from the movement speed alone. If every character in this game had the exact same movement speed, he might get used, honestly. But that's not the case. So we use this guy. Killua starts with 10 more attack than Gon, which is significantly more. And then he gets more attack per 5 hits than Gon, which by 1. So unfortunate. Yeah,
so whenever you see me stop to attack groups of enemies, usually 2 to 3 enemies at a time, I'm trying to land multiple hits on them. It's kind of to gain attack points at the end of the level. Once, like Nylan said, once I've landed 5 hits, every extra 5 hits I gain like a point of strength, and it kind of adds up as the run goes on. We need a lot of strength by the end so that the final bosses are quick and not as difficult.
Yeah, because Aura recovers, this is going to sound backwards. Aura recovers at a mostly fixed rate, despite the fact that we get more of it as we level up. So in a way, we get more hits before it runs out, which is pretty expected. But what's extra confusing is the fact that, like, you know, you're going to basically wait like 5 seconds every time your aura runs out in this game, which is kind of ruthless. So any amount of attack that means we don't have to wait for those aura refills is going to amount to a lot of seconds.
Yep. So yeah, basically right now, since Zegan's minions found out that we were in the mansion snooping around, figuring out his master plan, they all started coming out and trying to body us. So that's why there's just tons of random enemies just on the revisit. Oh, revisit here. We don't want to die here. That would be pretty cringe, honestly. But I think we'll be good. We're almost out of the mansion at this point. And we're out.
It brings you back to his office. So this game has a really forgiving checkpoint system. If you die on bosses, it restarts at the beginning of the boss, etc. And your life keeps going up because you keep dying, so it keeps giving you more life. So this game's really forgiving, casually speaking. But yeah, like that area, we don't hit anybody because we would be unlikely to get more than 15 hits, which is the first amount of hits that gives you any level ups in attack or aura. So it's like, if you don't get 15 hits in a stage, we just forgo hitting in general.
Yeah, it's just not worth it.
There, scene happens where the Hunter Examiner talks to Hanzo, and they talk about the information you gathered, and they talk about how that leads to a cave, basically.
Yep. And the cave leads to Evil Frog.
It does. So this is the first major boss of the game that actually is like a threat. The 2 biggest likely deaths, the first biggest likely death is in Manor, and then it's this frog fight. This fight and a later ogre fight are the hardest fights in the game by a pretty wide margin. They're very likely to kill you, whereas a lot of the other ones require mistakes.
Yeah. You
These
can
actually kill you with no mistakes made.
Yeah. You can get by decently by playing extremely safe, but the thing is, playing safe usually amounts to playing slow. So, oh, cool. Nice. We're going in with nerfed health because of Salamander.
I think there's a heal if you break a thing, but maybe not.
It's sometimes. I've tried it a couple times. It doesn't always spawn,
It's definitely random. But
yeah. It was worth a try, but it's too late now. Okay. Well.
So he's very likely to die here, which is fine. He's basically just gonna go for it, and if he dies, he dies.
Yeah, if I die, it's okay. The time accounts for that because it's very common to die here.
Yeah, and it gives us the life to make the ogre fight like not a one-shot.
Yeah.
Mostly okay. Hanzo is a more new strat in this fight. You can, he's much stronger than Leorio in terms of damage, and much tankier as well, more than double. So he can actually help us quite a bit in this fight, and he wasn't used in older strats in this stage. Leorio dies to these guys in like 1-2 screams, but Hanzo can tank like 5.
He's also really good at helping me take them out. He's just really strong overall.
Yeah, he just has more than double Leorio's damage. He has your same moveset. He has Killua's moveset with slightly more range. So he's just better than Killua, honestly. If we could play as him with a completed moveset, we probably would.
Nice, no death. Very good, very good. That's definitely one of the scariest fights in the game. Those frogs can jump extremely far, and there's not a huge field of vision on the screen. So other than the little map in the top right corner with the blue dots, which signify the enemies, it's really hard to tell where the frogs are and how far they're going to be jumping or where they're going to be jumping. So to be able to make it out of there without any deaths is very good. So that was great.
The frogs exploit a bug in this game that the player doesn't have, which is that if a enemy lunges, or technically your support ally, if they lunge and interact with another enemy, what'll happen is they double lunge. So the problem with frogs is they go to lunge at you, and a frog is like in between you and them, and they will lunge twice as far. So they can lunge like across the entire map. Which
It is
like,
very cursed.
Also, if you're in the bottom section of that map, when they lunge, it goes 3 times as far because the collision is higher up, and the game just makes them lunge an additional time.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Yeah, I definitely opted to play safe with the frogs and just kind of take out one at a time instead of trying to group attack. Group attacking theoretically is faster because obviously you're killing more of them at the same time, but if you're killing one at a time with Hanzo's extra damage on top of it, it kind of doesn't even equal out to be that much slower. So we got the
hit lag in this game too.
Yeah,
so it's like every hit is gonna cause like a slowdown. So when you're hitting a ton of enemies at the same time, it's pretty scary. Luckily, we checked this fight. The reason we didn't use Hanzo before is because we wanted Leorio stats, but we actually checked it, and this fight has the same stats regardless on your ally character. So effectively, this fight like nerfs the crap out of Hanzo for it. The only thing you worry about is his attack animations and the fact that he's prone to not lunging. But ironically, him not lunging is useful here. Leorio loves lunging, and lunging just knocks you over.
Yeah.
So it's kind of easier with Hanzo. He has more chance of locking us in place, but less chance of losing time overall.
Exactly. All right, yeah. So now we're going to the spot in the middle here, right?
I believe so.
The Giants.
Yep.
I usually use my splits as direction. I don't have them up right now, but
yeah,
we're all good. Yeah, this
noise
is the right
pollution
place.
here, Jetpack Man.
Yeah, I no idea why there's like 10 of them.
They're honestly really stupid. These missile guys are also pretty strong. They do about a quarter of our health.
Yeah.
If they hit us with bazooka. The dwarves are the scariest. They're like coming up, I think.
Yeah, they're coming up in the next room up here. We have dwarves that sound like Zoro from One Piece, and they're just as powerful as well. So we don't want to get hit by these guys.
They're about 30% faster than you, and they go whoop and slap you and ragdoll you, basically.
Yeah, half your HP deleted instantly.
This is first instance, I believe, of this, where you have to move your ally to a second button.
Yeah, so as we explained earlier, with the right analog stick, you can control where your ally moves. So this is a little puzzle that utilizes that feature. Oh, we gotta go down. Oh, the yeetage. Oh my. Okay. We're good. I don't even think I've been hit by that roundhouse slash before, bro.
Yeah,
usually it's just the ground pound. But yeah, not bad. We're making it.
There's 2 heals here, so like that's why we're not too worried. Like we're not within a one-shot range by pretty much anything. And there's a lot of heals on this stage. Like you can see the statues everywhere. Those can all be heals. So
Yep.
it's not the worst thing in the world if we take a little bit here. And technically it helps us in a weird way. You can see during this cutscene we actually get healed. The reason that is because if you stand still for long enough, your character heals with their nen. And during those cutscenes, it counts as you standing still. So you get to heal
Free
a
heals.
bit of your health. Yeah.
Easy.
So it's kind of funny. But yeah, there's 2 heals in front of this boss door. So you just tap it on the way. This game does work like, I forget what other game does this. I think maybe Legend of Zelda. But like, this game does that thing in Melee, where if you heal and then walk through the door too early, you don't actually fully heal.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not a big deal here. This is a new strat we found kind of recently. So these guys are either coded wrong or coded with like fake armor. But basically the first hit of either of your strings won't flinch them, which is one of the big reasons why they're annoying. That, the fact that they grab you. And so it's a common strat in this fight to like lunge them or hit from just outside of their range and then just try to synchronize your second attack to hit them and onward. So there's a couple like safe strats if we have to, where we do a lunge to knock them over and then we do second hit on their wake up. So that's kind of the thing. And you can like wobble them on the ground because their falling animation is longer than average. But yeah, this fight you could see it's pretty frightening. That green orb is an infinite aura thing. He's only gonna be able to get it if he lunges through this guy. Or moves him out of the way. So that'll make it so our aura is infinite, which is quite useful, as you would expect. It lasts okay amount of time. Power-ups are all random in this game, so it's rare that we get one of these sometimes, but when we do, there's 2. Hanzo took it. When we get it, it's actually like pretty insane. Hanzo, if he stays alive, is really good in this fight. He, for some reason, it feels like all of his attacks break through their armor, which is not the case for Leorio or Kerbuka or Gon, but quite nice.
What? No way! Brother! Oh my lord. That was going so good, and I went to do a lunge attack to finish off that giant. But since Hanzo ran behind him, he triggered an attack that punched us both. So
Yeah.
that sucks. Freaking Hanzo, man. He literally threw the fight. It was going so good. Oh my lord. Oh wells.
Yeah, but it explains how hard that is and how scary it can go.
Oh yeah. Okay, we'll leave that health on the ground just in case. Oh, we're gonna need it.
Aura.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, like I said, it's pretty crazy. They have grabs that are invincible to the first attack, or not invincible, but they're armored. And so it's pretty annoying to get it every time. It's easy if we can get one of them isolated like we are right here and kind of just time our middle of our combo to hit as he wakes up. So that he kind of just gets looped forever. But Aura's a thing as well, so it's picky
Yeah, once we
science.
run out of aura, it gets really scary. Can't believe he threw the fight like that, dude. That's so stupid.
Yeah.
Oh! Yeah, these guys have massive hitboxes, huge command grabs. Look at that. Like, I wasn't even close to that guy.
Yeah.
Alright,
very, very
one guy
strong.
left.
Yeah, so like, you might be curious, hey, there's purple power-ups on the ground or red power-ups on the ground, why don't you pick those up? It's ridiculous of the game devs to have done this, but all of them beside yellow and blue are detrimental. The red one hurts us, and the purple one makes it so all of our attacks basically like fling the enemy away and knock them down instead of dealing a bunch of damage. So, and they last really long. Like the purple power-up lasts like 15 seconds. So it's usually terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, forced knockdowns are bad because you just can't get as many hits down whenever the enemy just knocks on the ground because, yeah, the iframes are just so ridiculous, so I just avoid them. The only power-ups I like are the ones that we mentioned, the yellow, the blue, or greenish, I guess.
Have you ever tested the walking down versus
Oh,
jumping
yeah,
down?
yeah. I'm still used to jumping, but I didn't fully test it, but I think walking is faster. It feels faster, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's faster.
Well, in dying once, we took a lot of damage, and we also dealt a lot of hits. We landed a lot of hits on the giants both times before we died. So that gave us actually a lot more health and strength points, since landing attacks is what gives you attack points, and taking damage is what gives you more health. So we kind of like protected ourselves a little bit for later by dying there unintentionally. But yeah, this area right here kind of just takes us through a bunch of these puzzles that require us to stand on these switches. Let me not get hit by the gnomes.
If anybody's curious as to how do you know, it's based off the eyeballs that you see before entering these rooms. So
yeah, those eye patterns.
And so you can see on this one as well, it's like up and right, so we know it's center and right. So that's how you know which doors you're supposed to do. All these rooms are pretty ruthless because they're filled with the game's strongest enemies. Literally all of them. It's just the ogres, the guys that giant scissors and brooms, and then like dwarves that obliterate you, like in all these rooms.
Yeah, they're really difficult enemies. Especially like the further you go to the right, the worse it gets. Okay, if I remember right, is it this? Yes.
Yeah, so we have to open 4 doors, and then the center room opens, so it's like 2 rooms, skip a room, 2 rooms, and then we go back. So we have 4, quote, or 5 if you count special moves, attacks in this game. We have a light attack, that's 1.0 your attack. We have a heavy attack, which is triangle. It does 1.5 times your attack damage every hit. And then we have a, and it swings more vertically than horizontally. And then we have a, if you press circle, you do a lunging attack that goes through enemies, and it does 2.0 your attack, which is quite good. It has less lag than its jump attack version. And then we have the jump attack or step attack, which is when you press step, which is X. If you press X twice really quickly, or X immediately into square or whatever, you'll do a stepping attack. The stepping attack goes less far, has more lag, and does 0.5 attacks instead of 3 or 2.0. So it's really, really bad, but it feels like it's just there because the devs wanted to put something to stop you from mashing X really quickly. So you have to time all of these steps really hard, but it is just kind of weird that it's there. And then yeah, special move, you hit L1. You see those little like squares at the top of the screen above the support character? Those are how many specials he has. He has 3. Every time you land, I think it's 25 attacks, you get one of them back. That rarely ever happens, but you do have a way of obtaining them back on paper. We don't use them because Killua's is like basically misprogrammed in my opinion. It does 2.0 multiplier, which is the same as lunge attack. So we'll almost never use it unless we run out of aura or we need to hit an unblockable attack for some reason. But it is pretty sad. The reason I say it feels like a bug is obviously the damage doesn't make sense, but Gone's does like 6.0, which is a lot higher. It's 3 times higher. And Leorio's can do 8.0. So it just seems hilariously underscaled. I think Hisoka's does like 12, and like Ogyu's does 10, and Kurapika's does 4. Pretty bad.
Yeah. So this boss fight is versus the main villain of the game. This is Egan. We're at the altar of Dragonbane right now. So he's trying to summon the epic power, be a big bad guy, all that good stuff. But we're just gonna keep him in an infinite because he sucks. So
Yeah. This game doesn't have a lot of lag, especially on your second attack for your triangle press. But it's also pretty good on your third attack. And he always does this attack. If you're in front of him, he isn't coded to have any more than this attack, except for his like bailout attacks. Every 33% of his health, he basically has a bailout attack where he becomes invincible. Other than that, he will always do this. So because of that little flaw, that's the bailout attack. He either makes it rain bullets or he does 2 homing orbs. That was the raining bullet one. And so yeah, we get to just do 3 hits, walk around him, and do it over and over again. This is a very rare circumstance where he did 2 desperations before losing the health amount. It can happen, it's just really unlikely. And so this fight is suspiciously easy. It's just about how much attack we have, because this is kind of the point of the aura thing I was talking about before, where like amount of aura recovers affect this fight a lot. That knockdown was less bad than it looked because we ran out of aura basically. Sometimes like the enemy hitting us or knocking us down isn't that bad if our aura is already low, because we would have had to run in circles. This is like a record amount of desperation attacks from this boss.
I know. Marathon luck.
Never seen him do more than like 4, but marathon luck means. After this guy dies is not the end, as much as we just said he was the final boss. He is for the storyline, but you fight that one boss that
we died to on purpose earlier.
Yeah. You fight him after he busts into this airship. So right here we're like, we win, and everybody goes to the doctor and they're like, yay. And then we talk to Isaac Netero and he says, you know what? I'm leaving, I guess. And then
somebody attacks the airship, and the airship starts blowing up and getting bodied, and we're like, bro, what's going on? And it's that guy from the temple earlier that destroyed us. Turns out he's a hunter hater. He hates hunters for some reason. I don't know, they like destroyed his family or something, but he's just a big hunter hater. He's like, they're all my prey. So he obviously wants to fight you at the very end of the game. This time we can actually beat him. At the earlier point in the story, we can't. He's like totally invincible, basically. We're designed to lose the fight. But this one, we can win, and we want to treat it kind of like the other fight, where we kind of get behind him, do a 3-hit combo, and repeat until we have to recharge our aura. We have to avoid this gigantic super attack of his because it's massive. But he has a really weird attack pattern. He kind of moves in this weird, like, diagonal direction, so you kind of have to account for that when you're getting behind him. All you need to do is hit, like, behind his arm to kind of get the combo started. You want to avoid those dash attacks and stuff, too. You can force an attack out as well by making him block from the front. If you attack him from the front, he's always going to block. So sometimes I'll force a block to make him attack me, and I can get behind him and start looping. But time is going to come up once his health bar is totally gone. Once the fight goes into slow-mo and whatnot, I'll call it once it happens. I'm getting pretty close. Music goes hard in this game, by the way. For a random anime license game, the music's great.
Yeah, Konami privilege.
Yep.
Counter. That's a rare but likely attack from him.
Yep. Alright, time. He had to call out for the hunters with his dying breath. Yeah, game is pretty dope.
Right here, he's like mad at you, and then he tries to commit suicide by jumping off the ship, but he fails. If you play 100% in this game, you get like a post game where you see him talking to Hisoka about why he should be a hunter, and he says okay. And then you fight all the bosses again because this game doesn't have any extra maps or anything.
Yeah, we extend our hand in friendship. We're like, come on, man, hunters aren't that bad, and he smacks the hell out of us. So he's not about that life. But yeah, that's basically the game. Really cool game, super short, easy to learn, run, fun to play. Doesn't get a lot of love because it's really obscure. Not a lot of people even know that there are Hunter x Hunter games, but it's a super popular anime. So yeah, it's nice to have games in this series that aren't bad. I hear that we're getting a new Hunter x Hunter fighting game. It's just announced actually, so hopefully we'll see some more Hunter runners who maybe one day might touch this game. But yeah, appreciate you guys for letting us showcase this run on especially short notice as well. So thanks a bunch.
No, thank you for coming in to bail us out when we had some dropouts last minute, so we needed another run, and you stepped up to the plate. So thank you very much, Glitch.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to read a quick donation. Master Sorry Watari donated $1. I'm glad I was able to catch some of the run. Let's share some love to Glitch, the niche anime game king. Also, let's get some hype going for Hunter x Hunter, or for Hunter x Hunter fighting game, which you just did, I believe. And
Oh, yeah.
Bisky is best girl, by the way. And if you have any anime women or men that you're fond of and want to donate and get me to talk about them on stream, feel free. I'll read anything.
Poggers.
Is
Yeah, thank you for
Bisky
the
the best
dono.
girl? We don't know. We can't be sure.
For sure.
All right, I'm gonna jump back to an intermission. We are running a couple of minutes behind. I want to get us back on track. So thank you so much, guys. Glitch, we will see you later for another run tomorrow,
Yeah.
right?
Indeed, yeah, early tomorrow.
Yeah, so we'll look forward to that. But next up, we have Build Nye running Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy after a short intermission. See you all.